Good morning, everybody. It's happy Crafty Hour day here at Clipper Street. It is Crafty Hour number 25. Hello, hello, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, it's Joe here from Clipper Street. It is Crafty Hour number 25. Hello, hello. I'm seeing some people pop on now. Good morning, Catherine. Okay. Hello, happy Crafty Hour 25. Good morning, Gail. Just getting myself all situated here. I'm not going to tell a lie. I'm a little nervous. Hello, hello. Joining the Crafty Hour bandwagon. Good morning. Trying to pop on a little bit early, and I think I failed a little bit. Good morning. Hello. You have to excuse my nervousness. Hopefully, as I get going, I'll have a little bit of better flow. Blah, 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 blah. Good morning. We've got two cards that we're going to create today in the Crafty Hour, and then I've got a little extra goodie here that I wanted to do a little demonstration with, if I have time left. Otherwise, we'll just post the idea in the group, and you guys can have a little instruction with it. Hello, everybody. Let's see here. I just want to get myself a piece of paper. Okay. And get myself a Sharpie. Trying to think of all the things I need here. Hopefully this is a good Sharpie. Hello, good morning, Frida. Thank you. Happy to be with everybody for Crafty Hour 25. I love Halloween. I love it. I love all of the stuff and the spookiness and the dark and the creepy. Thank you, Josie. You're very, very sweet. All right. I am on a time limit, and that is sort of my main focus in this Crafty Hour gem session. So I'm going to get started. I will have some instructions, obviously, to upload and all of that stuff. And I'm just going to go through each card as if I were making it with you. So this is my first card. This is my card number 1. Nope. Yep. It's going to be now. And this one is it's just a pocket card, so that for us older guys who don't go trick-or-treating, we can have a little gift card in there. Probably a little Kit Kat will fit in there, or maybe a York peppermint patty, something yummy. But it's just a regular A2 size card with a little pocket on the inside. So in your instructions, in your homework instructions, sorry, you were asked to have, I've got some good things here. Got all my papers. I got some foilies. I'm using an orange, and that is from the variety pack from Hunky Dory. So I've got those pieces, and I've got some squares, and then I've got my card base. I've got a couple of die cuts here. I've got the house in the foil and in the cardstock, and then I've got a couple of those gnarly twisty trees. I love these. I love the trees. Those are so fun. So scoring wise, I'm going to go with a bit of a larger piece of paper here. I'm going to move in here with my scoreboard, and I'm going to score my paper. This paper is 5.5 by 9.5. Okay, so it's a little bit longer than what you would standardly have for a simple folding A2 size card. So 9.5, that little extra inch gives me a little bit of extra room for that pocket. But I'm going to have a short front on the card. So I'm going to score at 2.25, and then again at 6.5. Okay, so I'm going to leave that there so that you can see that. Get out my little score guy here, and I'm going to score at 2.25 and then 6.5. All right, so my this is going to be the front of my card, this 2 1/4. This is going to be my inside panel, and this is going to be a flap that you're going to fold into the inside that will create the pocket. So that is the card base all ready to go. Let's see here, let's get a proper bone folder here. All right, so get that nice and creased. I've got a really sort of heavier black cardstock here, so I'm going to make sure that I get a good crease on those. Get some movement in there, make sure that it's going to open and close really well. And then I'm going to grab some of my pattern papers. Now, you had a nice slew of pattern papers. And these are the ones that I'm going to need for this card. So the first one is going to be this scene here. This it has the little castle coming up on the left side. Beautiful paper with fall colors and all that goodness. And on the back side is a bunch of spider webs and spiders and some argyle in the back. So we're going to use that one. We're going to use a little bit of this purple. I like the purple. I was just kind of going for a contrasting color. And this pattern here, it's kind of an overall pattern with some skulls and pumpkins and witches' hats and all those kind of things. So this is a really good one that doesn't really have a direction to it. Some of the things have a direction to it, but it's one that you can get away with turning it in different directions on your cards. So we'll start with that one. All right, so for this one, I'm going to need 3 small squares. So let's call it skull pattern. Excuse my printing as I'm nervous. Urn pattern. So I need 3 squares that are 1.5 inch squares. Okay. There we go. Catching up later is probably a really good idea, Judy. That's what Crafty Hour is all about, right? So I'm going to go in at the 1.5 inch mark on my trimmer. Very, very simple, following the line there, holding my guide, going down, and then I want 3 squares from this. So I'll keep going back to the 1.5 inch and just cut those 3 squares. All right, so it's that kind of overall pattern that I'm happy with doing this, because then it doesn't really kind of matter which direction the square goes. So 3 of those, all the same size. My little scraps over there. Might use that for something else. Okay, so for spider webs, I'm going to be using this paper for a different card as well. Got a little bit of the glue up there from the pad. I'm going to be using this cute little cat scene with the moon on this card here, on my second card. So I want to make sure that I'm going to cut that for the second card. And then I'm going to use the leftovers of the purple on this card. So I'm going to cut it at 3.5 inches. So that's my moon and cat. Moon and cat is 3.5 inches, right? And so when I'm cutting the 3.5 inches, I just want to make sure that that cat and moon is included on that side there, keeping that in there. And I'm going to put that aside, whoop, for the other card. So then I have this leftover piece I can use here for this card. Now this piece is going to go inside the card, kind of tucked behind the pocket. It's just a contrasting paper. On the back of it, it has all these cool little spider webs and spiders on it. So again, it's just going for the color. And I want this purple one, purple, to be 2 inches by 5.25. 2 inches by 5.25. So, I mean, probably could just leave that on there because it's going to get tucked in the pocket. But so I'm cutting at 2 inches. I'm going to turn it sideways, and then I'm going to go to the 5.25. There we go. So that's going to fit on the inside panel, tucked underneath my pocket. All right. My castle. Purple Mooncat castle. I want to cut this castle specifically because I would like to include that little castle into the scene on the side of the front of my card here. I want to have that peeking out on the side. So I'm going to cut this strip at 1 3/4, and I'm going to have it fit inside my juicy little orange foil there. So I want that 1 3/4 by 5. So I'm going to include the castle. So I'm going to keep that on the base of my trimmer. 1 3/4. I don't really have any funky measurements today. I kept things simple. Really like the pumpkins on the bottom and that little bit of orange included. So I'm going to chop some of the top away. So I'm going to keep the orange on the trimmer, and I'm going to go to the 5" and just cut that little bit off. Into the scrap pile it goes. So that's what I have ready to go for my foil. So I've got a little border all the way around. All right. And one more piece of pattern paper. I'm going to go with the stripes. Now the stripes has this great scene on the back. So that's what's handy about getting an extra paper pad, because if you like both sides, you're kind of stuck, right? So each paper pad, I believe, has 3 of each sheet. This kind of was my favorite paper out of the whole bunch. I really, really like the stripes because it includes all the colors, and I love this scene on the back. So it was, you know, it was hard. It was heartbreaking to try to pick and choose, but I'm going to go with the stripes. So what I want to do is I want to cut a piece that's going to cover my pocket panel that's going to fold over onto the inside of the card there. So I want to make sure that that's going to fit inside. That piece, that's my stripe. My stripe, and that one is, I believe that pocket is 3 inches, and I'm just gonna double check my little ruler here to make sure that that's 3 inches. Is it 3 inches? It sure is. Okay, so I'm gonna cut a piece of stripe going across so that when they're on my card, they're also going across at 2 3/4. So we're going at 2 3/4, and we're going to go by 5 1/4, so it fits in that black spot. 2 3/4 by 5 1/4. There we go. All right. Make sure that my stripes are in the right direction, right? Okay, so I'm going to bring this guy over here again, and we're going to get some layering going on here. I'm going to start on the inside, and I'm going to use my score lines as a guide to help me kind of line things up. I'm going to start with this purple piece, and I'm going to line it up here so I have a little bit of black border showing all the way around to keep that continuous through the whole card as well. Fold it over, make sure that that's kind of a hidden edge. And I'm going to use a liquid glue. I could pretty much use either side of that. So whatever side you prefer. I prefer Nuvo glue. Easy to use. Little bit goes a long way. Got some wiggle room. There we go. Get that down. Fold. That's the front. That's the pocket. I glued it on the wrong side. There we go. There we go. Let's give it another go. I'm gonna let this glue dry because I don't want to close up my pocket now. I don't want to close up my pocket and then have it all glued shut. That would be silly. So let that dry a moment, and all of that will be hidden. All right, I'm going to get my stripe on. Let's put that on. This great little scene going to be hidden behind that paper. It's so heartbreaking when we have to make those choices. All right. Get my stripe on there. Now I brought just a small circle punch so that I can just take a bite out of the center here and have that little grabby hole to be able to put something in. So with both layers together, I'm just going to do a little bite out of there so it's easy to see if I've got a gift card or something tucked in there. And so that's my inside. I'm going to move to the outside. I'm still going to just let that dry a minute. I don't see that it's all dry, so I'll wait before I close that pocket up. I'm going to attach my little castle scene onto the foil there. A little bit of liquid glue. Put that on there. Now, of course, if you like smaller borders, you can always do a larger layer to put on top of your foil, or you could do a secondary layer if you wanted to do a black or a silver or something else along with your orange foil and your pattern paper. So on the front, that's going to go a little black all the way around, nice and even in the center. Okay, now my boo-boo glue here is all dry. So I'm just going to put a little bit of liquid glue down the sides so that when I close that up, it's open in the middle and then I've just got a pocket. Isn't it a great collection, Aaliyah? I really like the spooky Halloween, and I just think this paper is just scrumptious. Okay, so that is... I get a little overwhelmed when I really like something because I want to make the best thing with it, and this was one of those things. I could just make Halloween cards all day long. I don't know if I have a lot of people to give Halloween cards to. I have a select few people because I have Halloween loving friends. You know, we all kind of band together. I'm looking for this. I want to just reinforce this a little bit. Here we go. All right, so I've got some squares here. Just gonna plan out here what I'm going to do. I'm going to tilt them onto their diamond sides, and I'm going to make a border that goes across the front like this. So before I do that, I'm just going to layer up all my papers, starting with my largest one. I want the middle one to be the feature one, so I'm going to layer up this black 2-inch square along with a foil square and then a patterned as well. So that's the special one that's going to be in the middle. There we go. And then I'll just have a little pattern paper on the other two. So they're just a little bit smaller. And any of the pattern papers will work for this. This is just the ones that I chose. Hey, Jenny, you can always go back and watch the beginning. That's what Crafty Hour is all about, right? It's always there. You can always go back, have an idea of what's going on, and then get everything all ready and start creating. Okay, so those 3 are all ready to go. Let's just get that out of the way temporarily and get myself kind of sorted here out of a pile. Making a pile. That one kind of budged over. Let's straighten that one out. Ooh, I got a little lift time there. Let's fix it so it's in the middle. Liquid glue is forgiving. Liquid glue is forgiving. Okay, I'm actually going to pop these ones up. So I'm going to keep the card open so I don't pop it closed. And I'm going to use some black foam tape. I use a lot of black foam tape because I tend to make cards with darker layers. So let's get some pieces cut here. Now I'm going to line these up so that the small ones, the point, because I'm going to turn it so that it's basically a diamond shape rather than a square, head on. And I'm going to have the points go right to the bottom and the top of the card. It's just the best way for me to center it. So I know I'm going to stick one there, and I know now I'm going to stick one there. And sometimes it's easier to put your foam tape where it needs to go so that you don't sort of misgauge it and have it hanging over the edge. So there we go. Get that one on there so it's nice and popped up. Get that one there. And just trying to guide and put my points so that they are lined up along the edge. If it's lined up at the top, and if it's lined up along the edge, then I know the whole border will be centered. Now the one for the center is a little bit larger, so it's going to stick out a little bit further. So I know I'm going to have that covered, and I'm just going to go out a little further. And I'm going to center that one, overlapping the other two, just like so. So when I close it up, I've got a nice border there. So this is now creating a place to put little feature focal things. And I think the little die set that is included in your kit is perfect. So we've created little homes for these little guys. And oh, thank you, Stacy. You know, and change up your foils too, right? Those Hunky Dory packs have such a great color selection. I was actually contemplating on going with like a purple because there are lots of purple accents through the paper. I don't know why I didn't have all these prepped and popped out. I'm going to put a little bit of liquid glue. I'm going to have the black one in the front, and I'm going to have the orange one kind of offset in the back, like it's glowing. And you could use a rose gold, you could use a normal gold. I just think orange is really, really nice for Halloween. I don't know too many other opportunities of when I would be using orange foil. It's definitely not a go-to color, but as soon as I started thinking Halloween, I was like, oh, we need to get some orange foil. All right, scissors. I'm gonna pop up this little house. A little bit of black foam tape under there. There we go. I'm just gonna put that right in the middle. Now my two trees. When you die cut the trees, we all know this, when you die cut it kind of creates a beveled edge on each side. So a die cut generally will always have like a right side and a wrong side. I would like a tree to go on either side of my house, and I don't want them facing in the same direction. I mean, it could be a windy day and all the branches are kind of blowing in one direction, but I would really like to turn one so that it looks so that the branches are turned inward towards the house and just sort of closing in on it. I'm going to take this tree that is the wrong side, and I'm just going to take a piece of paper. Let's use this paper, and this will work just fine. And I'm going to use the bone folder, and I'm just going to rub over top of it and get rid of some of those beveled edges. So then it doesn't look like it's the wrong way anymore. It kind of takes away those beveled edges. You can also take the die cuts and roll them through your die cutting machine with just so that you flatten them out. But that also works as well. If you take your bone folder and just kind of rub away those harsh beveled edges. Because I like sometimes the die to go in the opposite direction. So I'm going to glue one tree there, and I'm going to glue the other tree. Oh, it looks like I've got them both going in. No, let's take the glue off there. Not enough glue now. Let's get the glue on there, Joe. There we go. Just a little dab will do me. Get it on there. Give it a moment. Just put my warm fingers on there, get it dry. All right, so I got two little gnarly trees pointing at each other. Oh, wants to stay on my finger. Now, with my first sample, I wanted to snazz these trees up a little bit. So I just used some Stardust stickles. This is one of my kind of go-to Stardust stickles. You want a close up? Want nice and close? Sure, you betcha. Nice and close. All right. I'm going to just accent this a little bit with some Stardust stickles. And I like this because, you know, I could use a Wink of Stella pen or a Nuvo glitter pen, but I like this because it's a nice chunky glitter. All right, there we go. Hi, Mercy. How are you doing, Mercy? Oh, all these popping in to say hi people during Crafty Hour. So yeah, so just a little snazz there. So you can either choose the top or the bottom for a sentiment area. You can do a Halloween die cut. I tend to every year kind of get just like a new little sentiment. For this one, I chose to actually do a stamp. I really liked this stamp set from Spellbinders. It's the Dancing Halloween Sentiment. So it goes with all of those swinger die cuts. So it had really, really good Halloween sentiments on it. So I took one of those, I stamped it with a Versamark or a WOW embossing ink, and then I embossed it with some white embossing powder. Now I do have one that's here ready to go, and that was my process exactly for that one as well. I think my second one probably turned out a little bit better than my first one. And when it's a Halloween card where the paper is distressed and has all that kind of look to it, if you have a little bit of powder kind of floating around, I wouldn't worry about it. It kind of adds to it, kind of adds to the look. I'm gonna just snip this off. Just a little 1/2-inch strip. Ooh, maybe a little bit more than a 1/2-inch strip. Just kind of gauge there. Just have a little strip. I just stamped that and embossed it onto a piece of black that I had. And then I could trim this so that it has an angle, or you can do a banner tail. Trim it however small or big or long, however you need it to be. And I'm just going to pop that up there. Oh, I just dropped my other papers on the floor. There we go. So that's where I would like it to go. There we go. Just going to go across there. I can add some gems, some iridescent, some black sparkly gems to this if I want to, but this is looking really good. Now on the inside of the card, where am I going to write my message? I've got a nice big long panel here, and I could write with a white gel pen and write a spooky little message there. Or you can trim a scrap piece of white paper that will fit right in there, and that piece of paper would be 2 by 5. Okay, so then it just kind of all looks polished and finished. And then you can take some of the stencils that are in your kit if you want and have some extra little embellishing on that white area. But that is card number 1. So that one's all finished. Just going to leave that there. It's got all my little sparkly details on the trees. There we go, all ready to go. All right, let's go into card number 2. Thank you, thank you. Now my card number 2 on the outside looks a little plain, and I did that on purpose. Whenever I have something on the inside that maybe is a little bit more spectacular or spooktacular, I tend to make the outside just a little bit more easy to do. So I've done a little pop-up on the inside. So I've taken the little die cuts and I've die cut them out multiple times in the orange and the black, and I've created a little scene here in the background. So this is a very easy sort of step up pop, which is very, very simple. And we're going to go through that process. Hopefully we'll get through it. I think we're doing really good on time. I'm feeling a little bit better about everything in life. All right. Trying to keep myself organized here. All right, so I'm going to go with the white card base for this one. There will be a little bit of the white showing at the bottom so that we have a message area left over, but any colored cardstock would do. I'm going to use this paper here that has the witch scene. They're down at the bottom here with their cauldrons and in a cemetery, and then there's a witch here on her broom going past the moon. So that's the paper you're looking for. And the back of that paper has a lovely spider web on the back. So we'll be using that one for the inside. Now the front piece we've already cut portionately so that we have that lovely moon with the cat scene on the front. And then we're going to utilize more of that stripe paper. Love the stripe paper. Know what it is? I think it might be, it reminds me of Ernie and Bert from Sesame Street. Now I've used for my sentiment on the front, I've used the add-on Happy Halloween that was available. Let's see here, where did it go? That's this one here. It's the Happy Halloween. What I like about this one is it's curved. So I can follow the shape of the moon with this one. So that one works really well. So I've got one cut in orange and I've got one cut in black. I could put those two together so that I have a shadow and it just creates a little bit more dimension. So you can have any sentiment there though. There's all sorts of different really great Halloween sentiments from creative expressions that you can cut out in your different foils and stuff as well. So in the homework, I asked you to cut out some skinny strips of foil to bring to Crafty Hour, 2/4 inch strips by 5.5. So that's the width of the A2 card. And then 1/2 inch ones as well that were 1/2 inch by 5.5 so that we can sort of tuck them under that pattern paper and have a little bit of foiling accent on the front as well. So I've got mine all ready. I've got my 1/2 inches and my 1/4 inches, and I'm missing a 1/2 inch. I'm missing, oh. Well, I've had one go AWOL, but that's okay. I'm sure it'll pop up when I don't need it. That's how it works, right? All right, and then I've got all my little die cuts. I've got all my little tombstones. The tombstone is really cool because it has the little grabby hand coming out of the grave, which is fantastic. I've got a house and then a foil one to match, and then I've got some trees as well. All little goodies here. Okay, so we'll talk about the die cuts once we get going. What I want to fixate on now is cutting and getting ready for this little mechanism that goes on the inside and getting our pattern papers cut. All right, so starting with this card base here, I'm just going to score at 4 1/4. That's my card base is 5.5 by 8.5. It's a standard A2 size card. Could be any color, like I said. We're pretty much covering up all of the card base except that one little portion on the inside that we are leaving white for a message area. But if it's a different colored cardstock, you can always put in a place or use a different color pen for your message area. All right, card base is ready. I'm just gonna pop that up there and get my other pieces prepped. Now this piece for the front, I want to trim it so that it fits 5.5 inches wide, right? So it's already the width it needs to be, which is 3.5. 3.5. Let's put my glue over here. All right, so that's the cat and moon. Cat and moon. And that is 3.5 by 5.5. I'm not going to, I have to, it's 6 inches wide, so I got to take a little bit off. I'm going to take 1/4 of an inch off one side, and I'm going to flip it around so my moon's upside down, and flip it around to the other way so that I keep that moon and that little scene that's happening centered in the middle. So that piece is ready. My witch, I'm going to do the same thing. I need to chop away some because it's 6 inches wide. So I'm going to take 1/2 inch off this side because I want to keep my witch and my moon scene over here. So I'm going to go to the 5.5 on my 6 by 6 paper, and I'm going to cut off 1/2 inch. A little strip there I can probably keep for something else. Now this special little piece needs a score as well because it's going to go on the inside of the card. So we'll score witch, witch at, I think I did it at 3.5. Okay, so that's my score. I think I did it at 3.5. I'm going to put my witch here, close to this edge here, and find my little scoring tool. 3.5 inches. 3.5. Find that little half groove. There we go. This isn't my normal scoreboard. It feels a little foreign. That's a nice deep score. Kind of fold that up. All right, so when I line this up here, I'll have the larger portion going into the top of the inside of the card, and the cemetery scene there, the shorter end, is going to go into the bottom end. So then I still have an open area here to write a message. Okay. All right, we need to do some business to this piece because we need to make some pop-outs. Now, I asked you to bring a pencil and a ruler so we can do some mark making. Now we're going to make marks with our pencil. Mark at 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, and 1 inch. And then, so we're just going to do that along the short side here. We're going to keep this folded, and then from the folded edge, I'm going to use my little T ruler here. I'm going to make a mark at the 1/2 inch, and I'm going to make a mark at the 1 inch. Just a little pencil mark. This is for me just to make a guide, and it's going to be tucked away and hidden. I'm not going to see it. Now using my T ruler, I'm going to line up my ruler at that 1/2 inch so that I can draw a line to the other side. And then I'm going to do the same thing and repeat from the 1 inch. There we go. So I've got a line going all the way across at the 1/2 inch from the folded edge, and another line going all the way across at the 1 inch. Now I'm going to pull out my scissors. Whoop. And I'm going to look at the scene here and see where I want this to be. Do I want it straight in the middle? Do I want it on the side a little bit? And with this one, I went on the side a little bit. I didn't go directly in the middle. I like the scene with the witch on the side, and I felt like if I put it in the middle, I would be covering that up. All right, so knowing where my witch is, okay, I'm going to go over to this side here, and I'm going to cut up right to that 1 inch line. Whoop, and I'm going to do 2 snips like this. Okay, so I'm cutting all the way up to that 1 inch line. Now I'm going to do another snip a little ways over, say about a 1/2 inch over, and I'm only going to snip up to that 1/2 inch line. And then I'm going to do the same on this side. So I've made 2 cuts all the way up to the 1 inch, and I've done the same on either side of that, only up to the 1/2 inch. Now when I open it up, I've got all these little pieces here, and where I've cut up, I can pull out. Now I've got extra ones because those ones are the ones where the in-between bits are. But if I just get them started, and then I start folding, I'm going to use those lines as a guide to know how far they need to go. And then I'm just going to push, 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 push. And then I've got a couple little steps there. Now they can obviously go back, right? They can go back flat. So if you don't get them folded and scored in the places they need to be, you can always readjust it. But they kind of just go by themselves. Once you start guiding them, you kind of train them where to go. So I'm just going to reinforce that with my bone folder. Just reinforce that. Okay. There we go. So that's all ready for me to embellish. All right, it looks like my paper here is just a little bit too long for this card. Just like a hair of my chinny chin chin here. Just gonna skim it down a little bit so it doesn't stick out the edge. All right, so now I'm gonna glue this into the fold of my card. All right, very, very simple. And where the fold is that meets the fold here in the card, I'm just not gonna make it like tightly glued there. I'm just gonna leave it a little bit loose in that gutter so that it has a little bit of freedom to open and close a little bit easier. I don't wanna make it too tight. So I'm just gonna put liquid glue on that side. I'm gonna put liquid glue on this side. So I don't have to erase any pencil marks. They're all going to be hidden in there. There we go. I'm going to fold it up and I'm going to put it just ever so slightly away from the fold and then fold it in. All you got to do is make sure that it's lined up on the 2 edges and then just fold it in there and let your glue do the work. And then when you open it, you'll have those areas ready to go to embellish. Okay. Oh, I forgot to cut my stripe paper. Let's do that and have that ready for the front and the inside. Let's see here. Let's make room. Let's make room. So we have stripes. All right, I need a strip that is 1 inch, 1 inch, and then 2 for the front. We can do 1 inch as well. We've got lots of paper left over. 1 inch times 2 for the front. Inside. There we go. If I wanted to conserve the paper, I would just make my stripes thinner. It's no problem, but this is kind of what I have left over. It's all good. And then I've got more stripes on another paper pad as well. But if you wanted to conserve, you can always just make these smaller. Some of it's going to get tucked and hidden. I'm just trying to make it easier. Sometimes when you're working with thinner strips, it's a little bit daunting. I'm going to put my 1 inch strip up here to cover this area. Oh, I'm going to cut that short. Make sure that that fits. Trim that off. There we go. So there's my stripe on the inside. And then I'm going to do my 2 stripes on the outside. Put this here so that you can see where we're going, what we're doing. End up cutting some of that off. That's okay. I'm going to line that right up to the top so that there is not any white showing. There we go. snip that away using my card as a guide. And do the same along the opening edge. Oh, let's do the stripe. There we go. Trim that off. Okay. All right, now my little cat scene here, all ready to go across the inside here. So I'm just going to add a little bit glue to the long edges here, the top and the bottom. What I call the top and the bottom, because that's the direction of the paper. And I'm going to add a little foil stripe here. Now with the liquid glue, I have a little bit of give time here to get the width, the thickness of the border that I would like to have. If I want it a little bit thicker, or do I want it a little bit thinner? I can just sort of play with it for a moment as it's slip sliding around there and figure out which width I want, and then get them both evenly the same. There we go. And then if anything is hanging off the edge, we can just cut it all off at once there. I'm going to pop up that layer with some black foam tape. There's my foil, stuck to my foam tape. Little sneaker, just grabbed it up there. Oh, thanks, Gloria. I keep forgetting to look at the comments, so I'm sorry. Staying organized is a lesson in itself, and I'm not very good at it, I must say. I need some in the middle. Just gotta have it. Gotta have that support in the middle. All right. There we go. Across the middle it goes. Oh, it's not gonna let me. Not gonna let me. I like to kind of stand overhead and make sure things are centered. This is gonna have to be one of those, it's good enough. All right, I've got a couple here. I'm just gonna glue these together and get this on. I like layering my sentiment dies just because it gives them their own little dimension. Sometimes these things, if I could, I would pop them up, but some of them are intricate and you can't really get that job done. I usually just go around with my glue and dot and drag is what I call it. Just dot and drag, get it going. Not every little piece needs glue on it. All right. And we will just offset that ever so slightly so that black is showing in the background. Just want to get it lined up a little bit better. Warmth of my hand, get that all nice and glued down, and then I'll just glue this side down. That little guy needs to come out. There we go. Okay. That's how it goes. I'm sure you don't want to watch me gluing. I don't want to bore you to death, but I just want to get this completed. Get it on there. Hugs that moon ever so perfectly. Ever so perfectly. And then I want to accent that moon with a little bit of my stickles here. Just going to follow that edge. And what I do with my stickles is I just take it and I push it up against the paper, and then I move the product around with the tip, right? So I can just create that little highlight. There we go. And if anything else I wanted to highlight, all these little sparkly stars, put a little dot on them just to make them a little extra sparkly. There's quite a few of them here. It's quite nice. And then if I wanted to do that on the inside of my card, I could do that as well. All right, so let's layer up some die cuts while that just sort of sits and waits for a moment. Let's get rid of these scraps. Okay. I'm gonna put my houses together. Little bit of glue. Come here, glue. Nope. Yep, that's what I want. There we go. I want my 2 trees doing the same thing, one in each little direction there. All right, just see what I've done here. What have I done? I'm actually going to stick the tree to the back of the house so that it is all one piece. Whoop. I'm just rushing a little bit here. Pardonnez-moi. And then I'm going to do that same little trick to flatten out my tree. The silicone mat just wants to hug and grab everything here. It's hard to move things around. Just going to flatten that out a little bit so that I can glue that one to the back of the house as well. All right, and so now that piece is ready to go on the inside. And I'm going to put this front and center on that piece that is the 1-inch step there. And it's going to go on the front so that when the card opens, it'll be ready to open there. There we go. Oh, he's a little crooked. Why is he crooked? Because we got little tree roots down at the bottom here. It's a little crooked. It doesn't want to sit on the base there. There we go. So I'll leave that in there for a moment while I work on my tombstones. Now my tombstones, I have orange as well. And what I would like to do with these ones is layer them the same so that there's a little shadow, but I've cut one so that it's backwards. So when I actually cut the die, I cut it against the back side of the foil so that I have a left hand and a right hand. A gooey hand. So I'm going to cut one of the hands off here. I'm going to dismember this tombstone. I'm going to take this black one off, and I'm just going to actually glue the hand behind the tombstone so that it looks like it's coming out from the back, like a creepy little zombie ghoulie. And then the other one, I'm just going to do the same as we did with the house, where I just have it offset a little bit. So you got a little bit of that orange showing in the back. All right. I am rushing a little bit here. I'm not taking my time, but I'm just trying to get all of these tombstones in here in the background just to create that little scene. You can put the glue on the step there and put this little tombstone on the side. And there we go. All right, so then for the inside, I would just finish up by putting a little foil strip across here and then a little foil strip down here just to give a polished finished edge with a little bit of that foil so that it matches all the goodies on the inside and then it matches your goodies on the outside. Okay, let's just quickly put that down. And then I've got a couple minutes left over here so that I can give you a third idea with some embossing technique that I really like to do, and that just lends itself so well with all of these papers and things. So there we go. Got a few extra tombstones there. Not sure why, just in case. Trim that off there. Shoot. All right, so that's my card number 2. And then on my sample card here, I took the little stencil that's included in your kit, and I just stenciled in the little corners there just to add some extra little ghoulie embellishments there. Goes really nicely. It's nice that stencil, those corners go all the way around. All right. So that's the dry one, and that's the wet one. The stick will stay wet a little bit longer. The less you use, the quicker they dry. So I try not to gob it on. No gobs. There you go. There's my card number 1. And my third idea was my idea here with my little ghosties. Okay, so this is the stencil set that was included in your kit, and it has those awesome little stamps in it as well. So this sort of put me in a place where I wasn't really sure what to do with these. Not all of them? That might be all of them. I love these little ghosties, and of course, yes, there are ghost dies and other things that you could use. So what I did with these, my initial idea was like, I'm going to get some white ink and I'm just going to stencil through them. And then I went in a different direction. What's nice about these is that you get the masks as well. So you get the stencil side and you get the mask that you have the opposite. So I just, they're attached as well, which is great. So I went through and I just took a scrap piece of white paper and I traced them. I traced my little ghosts and then I just fussy cut them out. Now you can trace them with a really nice fine line black pen and then keep that line in there and then fussy cut around the pen line so it looks a little bit more cutesy and cartoonish. And then you have the stamp set to go in then and stamp some ghost faces. And then I just thought, oh, this stamp set would make a really great just background where you stamp them all in Versamark and then emboss them all with white embossing powder or glow in the dark embossing powder so that you just have all these spooky faces in a dark background. Just thought that would be fun. So there's the ideas for the stencils. Obviously, these accents with the gravestones and then the sort of drippy goo, could be blood, all that kind of stuff. Those are really great for the insides of cards as well. I can't wait to see what Courtney's doing because I know she's probably going to play this up with all sorts of really great mixed media ideas. So I took my 3 ghosts and I put them on a background with a embossing folder. This is a Tim Holtz one. It's called Mosaic. So this works really well with this one. It would work really well with a brick folder as well, or anything that kind of has an overall background. Now I'm just going to move my business out of the way here, and I'm just going to show you how I got the ink into the background of the folder. Pop out a machine here. I'm going to open it to the embossing level. Get the right plate here, get myself situated. Now I need to put the ink, I'm going to use a white ink. I need to put the ink on the bumpy side or the side that is going to go and emboss into the paper. So I'm just going to take a white ink. I like the unicorn, is it White Unicorn? From Hero. This one's from Lisa Horton. And I'm just going to ink up the side that has all of the ridges. I'm going to put my black paper in there. I like this pattern specifically, the mosaic one, because it kind of reminds me of a spider web. Right? We all see things in a different way. All right, hand on top, Joe. And I'm just going to go back again. Now, what's great about the embossed paper is if it didn't go in the way that I liked it, I can leave the paper here. I would like this to be just a little bit more white. I'm going to go in for a second go. There we go. I'm just going to rub that all over. And I'm gonna, because it's in the same place, even if it comes out, you can always line it up again before you do a secondary one. I can do this 3 times, I can do this 4 times. This would look really great also with a metallic paper. And you can also do this with a Versamark or a Wow embossing ink, and then use embossing powder as well. Now, the more times I put it through, the more fragile the paper gets, because I've embossed it like 4 times now, 5 times. So you got to be careful in that regards, where you don't want to just keep embossing it until the paper falls apart. But I just think a couple of times through the machine, it just tends to come out just a really nice and white. This one I did at home with the unicorn white from Hero Arts. So it does dry back a little bit, but I just love how it just kind of looks all crusty there and just sort of picks up the texture of all of that goodness and all of those cracks. Just helps with that kind of spooky vibe, right? So that is what I did with that. And you can do that with any embossing folder, just to add a little highlight in the background there to really accentuate what the pattern is of the folder. So that is kind of my overall, yeah, of what that card is all about. But I will definitely include any sort of little instructions and things that go with it. It's quite an easy one, just a little sentiment across the top, and then decorated the inside with some of my leftover papers. So thanks everybody. It was lovely to do Crafty Hour 25 with you. Diane's gonna come in and show you some more inspiration. Love Diane's inspiration. She's got some good stuff here for you. Thank you everybody, and I hope you enjoy Courtney's session this evening as well. I'm not gonna steal Deanna's. All right, Diane is here.
I'm here.
Take it away, my dear.
We're gonna shift.
All right.
You shift out, I'll shift in.
Okay. Come on in.
Alrighty.
Please excuse my mess.
That's all right.
I've spread out everywhere.
Have you seen my Crafty Hours? Come on.
Oh my gosh, it's everywhere.
Hi everybody. Wasn't that exciting? I tell ya, she's the master. I always say that when we're ever talking inking or anything like that. Joe's my girl. Let me tell you. So, anyways, I'm just going to take a few extra minutes because I know it is Crafty Hour. But I think Deanna said it was crafty 70 minutes or something that we were going to do it.
Hour 1.20.
Exactly. That's right. So, anyways, I'm just going to show you. I've done 4 cards using some of the things that when Deanna put this class out, she also had some extras that you could buy for inspiration. So I know Joe used the stuff that was in your Crafty Hour, and maybe you also used some of the extras. I'm not sure.
I used the sentiments.
Okay, sentiments, yeah. Yes, and I am as well. I don't think we're going to be able to get extra product at this point. I just was chatting with Deanna. But unfortunately, most of the stuff, as you know, when we do our Crafty Hours, it is stuff that is kind of one and done.
So many people bought.
I know, and we had a ton of them when she put it out to do the extras as well. So if you were lucky enough to get them, if not, like I say, the cards I'm going to show you, you can always add your own sentiment. There's always Halloween stamps and things out there as well that you can always do. So I'm just going to quickly bring in a few of these cards, and I have done dimension cards for every single one. So what we'll do after I am done, we're just going to put the pictures of the cards onto Crafty Hour Creations, and we will also put the dimension cards on there as well. And it's got just some, if there's any kind of little you know, things to give you an idea if you have to cut something a certain way or whatever. I've got all that on there as well. So you'll be able to look at that afterwards. But I absolutely loved this set. Like I said, Joe is just so good at doing all the inking and that, so it was kind of a daunting thing for me. But you know, kind of my style now after I've done a few of the crafty hours. And so I love to do my cutting and my paper piecing, and especially using embossing folders and things like that as well. So I have used this one here. So card number 1. I love this this haunted mansion kind of look, and the idea of the cobwebs. These cobwebs are just so cool. Oh. And I used the black, what was it? The Spellbinders paper, I think I used because it just has a little bit more of a dimension to it. And so this was one of the dies as well. Sorry. No, that's okay. Yeah, no problem.
I love
kind of like I say.
Paper.
Aren't they awesome? Yeah. I know. So the one that I used, this was one of the inspiration sets. As you can see, my little post-it that says inspiration.
I bought that one too.
Did you? There you go. So this was the metal cutting set. So this is the one that had the cobweb die in it. And so this is what the cobwebs look like. And so all I did was I cut 3 of them, glued 2 of them on, and then did 1 on foam tape. So it gave that little bit of an extra dimension to it as well. And I just used the Spellbinders Jet Black, I think they're called, gems. So they're not like a sparkly gem, but they just kind of added something to the center of it as well. And the little stars were also in this set. So they were also, all I did was just die cut 3 of the little stars and put those on there as well. So it just added something extra to it. The Happy Halloween again is from the sentiment stamp set that Joe was just talking about. And the other thing that I found about this stamp set was the quality of the plastic. It was so good. Like sometimes you buy stamps and you do them and they don't have the nice clarity in that. These stamps so easy, especially on your platform. They were just fantastic. So that's what I added, was just the Happy Halloween, just matted it and put it onto the card, used a little bit of foam tape in that as well. So again, just dimension, and you will have the instructions and everything on that one. So that was card number 1. Card number 2. So this one I kind of played around with it because I think this was one of the ones in the set, right? The little guy?
That was in their kit.
Yeah.
Set. Yeah.
So you got this one in the kit. So this one I thought was kind of fun because I loved this background piece that had the strip with the little haunted mansions on it. So all I did was I just die cut the little house on its own, matted it, used some really nice gold cardstock. What was this one? It was a, if I can see it, Tuscan Sun cardstock. I thought just worked really well. It was really nice with like matching the windows inside the little windows of the houses. So I also used the Waffle Flower die set Lacy Layers. I love this die set because you not only get your scalloped ones, but you also get your stitched ones around the outside. So you're able to do like your background and then add the lacy layers. And then I just simply matted my paper and put it on as well with a little strip of the gold. There's those gems again from Spellbinders, which I just love. And again, the Trick or Treat, and that is from the stamp set. But if you don't have the stamp set, we can, like I say, we can always get, you can always find, I'm sure, Happy Halloween or a Trick or Treat stamp. So, but great way of using up all the paper. That's a great thing, Joyce. There was just so many papers in this kit, and it was, we just had such a great time playing around with them. So
I had a hard time
that's great.
choosing the front
Me
and the
too.
back. Yeah.
Right? Because they were so good. Yeah. But I think Joe mentioned it too, the fact that we had so many sheets to play around with. We didn't have to be dividing it out and everything. So that was just great. So this one, again, just easy peasy, just cutting out my background paper and then just doing the little guy to add on top. I just thought it was really fun. So that would be card number 2. Again, I've got your card base here for you and all the dimensions in that of the papers. So they'll all be there for you as well. That's card 2. Card number 3. Now this one, this one might be kind of hard to see. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, that's awesome.
But because again, I'm not the inker like you know who.
I would just bring it up close. So
I know. Can you kind of see it? Can you? I hope you can see it. If I put it, you can kind of see.
Yeah, the scene is so great in the back.
The scene is really, really cool. And so I'm sure I could have used all kinds. Oh, that's a little bit better. I think you can see it a bit better there.
Yeah.
Inks and things. They scare me.
Does.
I know, exactly. Folder, Yes. Yeah.
But
let's watch for Courtney.
Simple, this is perfect.
Yeah, if you wanted to just do it right out of the white, like I thought it worked well. And then this cool little tree, I just kind of stuck here, and then I did the tombstones, kind of put them on a little bit of an angle. This little die set was from, I think, last Crafty Hour. It came in it. And I thought, it's kind of weird putting little flowers, but it was just something to put down at the bottom of the tombstones.
That's cool. And
again, just this paper here is the bottom of one of your sheets of paper, and you can just use it. You didn't have to use the whole sheet. You could just use that sheet there. And I used one of the background sheets as well. So again, my Happy Halloween, just matted, stuck onto the card. So that one is another quick little one. But I really did like how that showed up just on the white, because the detail to it with the house and the bats and everything, so cool. So that is card number 3. And then last one I did, and if anybody, you know me, I am like a Disney girl through and through. So this ghost just he just screamed Disney to me. But anyway, so this one, again, you'll get all your dimensions and that to it. This was in your stamp set right here. There's the little stamp. And I mean, these other guys are so great too. I really had to pick, right? Like you said, there were so many to choose. Yeah. So again, just matted him, did the little guy, added the Boo to You on there, and some gold, some of the orange foil, which,
you know what's great about ghosts is that you don't have to color them.
Exactly. Exactly. You know me. So I just love that one. So again, all it is just matting your pattern paper as a background with the foil and the black. Add some dimension and add your little Boo to You. So that's another cute little card that you had as well. And yeah, so that was that one. So just as a little bonus, I didn't do dimensions or anything for it because all I did was re-stamp. Where is he? Here we go. Oh. I re-stamped the little ghost. I added this cute little bow here to him. And if some of you may have these already, if you don't, we still have quite a few of them here at Precious. Oh my goodness!
At Clipper Street.
Wow, that was a slip. There's a blast from the past. At Clipper Street, we still have quite a few of the pads. They are these guys here. They were the Crafter's Companion, the die cut gift bag. If you haven't got this one is fantastic because it has so many different patterns in it. And just think of what you can do when you are using these stamp sets. You've got the stamp set. All you have to do is stamp a whole bunch of these cute little ghosties, or as we were just saying before, like the little witch hat, this little guy on the pumpkin. You've got the little mummy bunny kind of guy, right? Stamps. Do a stamp, mat it, and stick them on the front of these guys. How cute are these? And all you'd want to do is just put, I just stuck a piece of Sukwang tape inside, so when I filled it, I would just seal it up just like that. And I added the little trick or treat on there too. But I mean, fantastic way of doing all those little gifty bags for all the special kids in your life and that kind of thing as well, or adults
kids in school,
or big kids
to do the
your school thing to take to school. Like, how fantastic!
Or all your coworkers.
Any hint, hint. But I mean, you get I know. You get 96 of these in a package. So, I mean, you would have tons if you were doing a class thing or something as well.
And if you don't want to make 96 bags,
exactly,
you can cut the paper up.
That's the other great thing. That's right. I remember that from when Deanna did these before. I don't know if I can open this guy. They put this glue on here. But there we go. But look, so all you could cut this, make this into your card.
Look at that paper.
And I know. and have this as your gift bag. Like, how fantastic is that? So anyways, like I say, we still have quite a few of these here at Clipper Street. I'm not sure if Courtney has any at Scrapbook and Memories, but I'm sure you could check with her as well. And there are Christmas ones as well. So think of the same idea as putting a beautiful Christmas stamp or just a little Merry Christmas sentiment and doing the same thing. Quick and easy, and people will just love them. So anyways, I won't take up any more of your time because Joe did such a fantastic job. But we will post the pictures of the cards. We'll post all the dimensions on there as well. And I look forward to seeing you again next time. And don't forget, Courtney is 5 o'clock.
And tomorrow at 9 a.m. we are
revealing
our new Crafty Hour. It'll be Crafty Hour 27, I believe.
Yes.
I'm starting to lose count.
I know.
I believe it's 27.
Yeah.
So make sure you set your alarm or something in to remind you to tune in at 9 a.m. tomorrow, and we'll show you the new Crafty Hour.
It's very exciting. Let me tell you, very exciting.
Okay, thanks.
Anyways,
everybody.
have a great day. I'm glad you enjoyed the tag team today. So we'll see you all soon. Take care. Bye.